Welcome, everybody. The NFL draft was within a week, which means it's time to look at some of the best prospects in the 2023 NFL draft. I'm Joe with the Game House, and today we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 running back prospects in the 2023 NFL draft. Today we're going to be talking about the top 5 running backs in the 2023 NFL draft. That'll be on my big board and my position rankings on thegamehouse.com next week. We're going to be going through the players, through my player profiles here for the top 5 guys. And let's start it off with talking about Israel Abanikanda. Let's start off with some of his strengths actually here. He's a big back. He's an every down back, workhorse back. Pittsburgh lost Kenny Pickett. They lost Jordan Addison. They were able to ride Israel Abanikanda this year with the offense changing. He's got solid contact balance. He can run through arm tackles. This in a league where there's some guys, or in a draft class where there's some guys who are maybe smaller and provide maybe just some rotational value or some third down value. He's a guy who might be more successful on first and second down, which we'll get to here in a little bit as well. Despite being a bigger running back, he has some good speed. He can run pretty well. Some of those mile per hour trackers will track him pretty highly. Home run threat once he gets in the open field. He can do a lot of things that for his size and speed, I think could just make him a really enticing running back. He's also pretty elusive for his size. Not the most elusive guy. He's not going to make people miss all the time, but in tight spaces, he can kind of get out of things. He can make defenders miss. He gets them off balance. He does a really good job of all of that. So let's go talk about his weakness here. He lacks patience as a runner. There's times when he can just kind of run into his lineman's back. Instead of just waiting for the hole to open, he needs to just be more patient and wait for the hole to open and then get through it. That's something that he can work on. It's not a physical thing. It's just a mental thing of being more patient. And I think when he gets into the league, he can kind of convert on being more patient there. So his pass protection could also improve. He's got the size for it, but he needs to square up the rushers and really show better recognition of where they're coming from. And overall, it might be hard for him to get in on third downs because he's not the best receiver as well. He needs to run some more routes. He needs to show he can be more of a weapon on third down. So maybe this is a guy you take and you play first and second down, and then you have someone else who on your roster who plays on third downs. Maybe that's something that happens, or maybe you just kind of work him in slowly and just know he's not going to be an every down back, at least at the start, and then he develops into something more. So he's number 5. Number 4, DeWayne McBride out of UAB. I compared this guy to like Dameon Pierce from last year. Just a guy who runs hard all the time. So let's get to his strengths though real quick. We have another very solidly built running back, 5'10", 209 pounds. Same thing as Abanikanda. Good in short yardage situations, can run through arm tackles, good contact balance, keeps the legs moving, runs hard. It's awesome to see. A lot like those Dameon Pierce highlights we saw this past year with the Texans and with his time at Florida. He's got solid vision to find the hole. I think he shows a little bit of patience to get there. His vision kind of extends the open field too. He can kind of go and run to open space in the open field and pick up maximum yardage, which is I think very important. He also has the ability to elude defenders. I would say he's like really good in tight spaces as well. He jukes people out. He's got a nice one-cut step there. As you can see, I must have been thinking Dameon Pierce here at the bottom. I have Pierce in the draft profile. I gotta edit that. I gotta be better about that one. But but when he adds those jukes, he's already got the power. When he adds the jukes to his game, he's really difficult to tackle. So just really good for him. DeWayne McBride weaknesses. Let's go to the receiving production. Not very great here too. So again, a lot of backs in this class maybe don't have the workhorse size, but they have the receiving. He's one of the guys who has the size to be a workhorse back, but also just needs to add to his game as a receiving back. He really didn't have many opportunities at UAB. Something I would have liked for him to improve this past season, but right now you can tan him on first and second down. He also had fumbling issues. They always say ball security is job security. He could be benched to the next level if he doesn't hold on to that ball. And again, as mentioned, he can be patient, but it's inconsistent. So there's times where he just kind of wants to run hard and run through the hole, and there's some times where he's able to kind of like start and stop and try to get through the hole and wait for it to open. So he just needs to be more consistent with it. I think he's overall okay at being patient, but just something to watch out for. So going to the top 3, Devin Achane out of Texas A&M. This is a guy who a little bit smaller, but is the epitome of maybe a playmaker guy, a speed guy. I think maybe like a work done. I'd have to like go back and think about that comp a little bit more, but maybe like a work done. He's got the speed and quickness. He can hit a home run on a lot of carries. A very good athlete. I think that's something a lot of teams will like. He's got plenty of experience as a receiver, able to run good routes, run a solid route tree. I think there's a lot of potential for him to improve in that. He even lined up in the slot at Texas A&M, something that can be worked with. He can be split out wide on empty sets, just something that I think he could provide for a team. Vision is solid. I think he can, find the open space and run to it, especially in the open field. His vision really impresses me. He's kind of a creative runner. He's not like a very linear guy. He kind of just, was able to juke around the defense. But I think the open field vision is enticing because he turns plays that maybe were 5 yards into 10 yards or 10 yards into 20 yards. It's very good that his vision will help him in that regard. So again, he's undersized, 5'8" and a half, 188 pounds. We talked about the other running backs already who are kind of bigger builds. You just have to worry about he's a really good in between the tackles runner too, but can he add more strength to his game? Can he be durable at this speed? Is he going to be used in short yardage situations? I don't know about that. So going to his next weakness, he's got a trouble kind of in pass pro. Again, the size plays a factor in this, but he needs to square people up better. It's one of those things he may never improve, but he provides third down value because he's a receiver. There's times where runs can take too much time. It almost gets too cute with it. Something he also needs to work on. But it's a little bit nitpicky there. I have a second round grade on Devin Achane. I think he's a good player, can provide some value. I believe I have, go back, second round grade on Dwayne McBride, third round grade on Israel Abanikanda. But I think he can provide some value for a team. Maybe not as your top running back, but as a playmaker. I think he could. Then we're getting to the top two, and I think these two are above the rest, with the first one being above this guy. But Jahmyr Gibbs, it's just really good football player. Started his career at Georgia Tech, then transferred to Alabama, and was a very good player. So he is a speed and acceleration guy. A lot of people have comped him to Alvin Kamara. I can kind of see that. A lot of people have comped him to Jamal Charles. I can see that too. Former track athlete, really fast. He can hit a home run with his speed. Just a really big threat in the open field. One of the best receivers in the class. He was split out wide running routes. He was one of the most effective receivers at Alabama last year. He has some drops, but he could run routes. You're going to get your money's worth as a pass catcher out of this guy. He shows good elusiveness, good in tight space. He can move laterally. I think you can count on him being able to not just have speed but quickness in tight quarters. He doesn't have the greatest power. That's something that he'll have to work on, adding to his frame as he gets better. He needs to add more contact balance, but his game is more being spread out wide. Yes, he can be an every down back in the league, but it's more about the speed and the quickness with him. He could show better pass protection. I think that's something that a lot of people can improve coming into the NFL. Add strength to his frame, kind of work on recognizing where the rushers are coming from. That can definitely help. He's so fast that one of his problems too is he can get out in front of his blockers. He needs to kind of wait and let him get set up. I wouldn't say it's a patience issue. I guess it kind of is, but I think his vision is good. I think he just kind of gets ahead of himself too much. And instead of that, he needs to just kind of slow down a little bit, let the block set up. And I think he could have bigger holes to run through. It's very hard to tell an athlete to slow down though. So that's something you have to work with. First round grade on him. I think other people maybe have him second round, but I think this is one of the best running back classes we've seen in a while. The value of the position is the problem here. Worth the first round pick. Will he actually go in the first round? Maybe at the very end, but you're probably looking at a round 2 player, maybe a guy that people move up into the second round, early second round to go draft him. And now the best player in the class, again, in a tier by himself, best prospect since Saquon Barkley at the position, I think. He's got the size for it. That's the first thing you want to look for. He's the size to be an every down back. 6 foot, 215 pounds, contact balance, decent power. He can be used short yardage situations. You got to like that. He can be durable. Versatility is great too. Running between the tackles, he can run outside. He's a good receiver. He showed improvement in his pass protection. We'll get more to that later. He can be used as a weapon, as mentioned here, like Christian McCaffrey. He's great in short areas. He's a patient runner, but he accelerates quickly. He can be elusive. He can just, in tight windows, do not bother him. Jump cut was really, really effective for him. I really like what he can do in short areas as well, for a guy his size especially. So weaknesses for him. Early in his career didn't show the pass pro, did improve, but there's still things he can improve, like recognizing where the rush is coming from and just, again, squaring up rushers. He's got the size to do it, too. He'll definitely be able to improve on that and keep it flowing. I think for Robinson, there's not many weaknesses you're going to see, right? he's that good where you get to the top prospects in the draft. He's my third overall prospect. Again, positional value will move him down. He won't be taken third overall or anything. But he could use his size better. You could kind of like dole out some more punishment when he runs. It's good that he can elude, but sometimes the fastest way to get from point A to point B is to run through someone. It would just help diversify his game a little bit more. Just something, again, nitpicky here, but that's you'd want to see. He's got a very good speed, but maybe not the most elite speed. Again, nitpicky here. It's Bijan Robinson. That's what happens. He's not going to like time out as like the fastest running back in the league or anything, but he has good enough speed to be a good running back. And for that reason, first round pick, first round grade. I think he's one of the 3 blue chip prospects in this class. You can't get wrong with Bijan Robinson. So those are the top 5. There's a lot of other guys in this class. This is a very, very deep running back class. One of my favorites I got to mention, Deuce Vaughn. Very, very small, like 5'5", 160, but he makes people miss in the open field. I love him. He's one of my favorite guys otherwise in this draft class that was not mentioned here. I believe I have him as around running back 10 or 11, but just a guy that I think could be a really good third down, change the pace back, but can also just make things happen. Tyjae Spears from Tulane is another guy that I kind of like that, who's a little bit bigger, actually, so that actually helps him a little bit as well. Let me know who your favorite running backs are and how you think of my rankings in the below in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe. We'll have more position rankings as we get closer to the NFL draft. For now, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.